There we go.
Look at that. Look at that.
Now, imagine if somebody is there that he's not seeing, he can kill him. And then how would he feel? I don't believe in guns. What's the sense of guns? What's the sense of having a gun?
Guns kill.
Yes. What's the sense of having one? Especially somebody young like that.
This young guy was down at Santa Monica College yesterday, and he was coming out of school, 17 years old, and some hoodie guy comes around in front of him.
Drive by?
Walks right in front of him. Comes around, pulls out a gun and shoots him right in the gut.
For what reason? Did he know
No reason
him?
at all. Didn't know him.
So it's sick. And that's where it starts. When you start
How about the two UCLA, USC students that were just killed, the Chinese students?
Yeah.
They were just killed for nothing. They were sitting in their car. Somebody hijacked them with a gun and killed them both.
And you're wondering where it starts. Like why would these kids would kill? What's the reason for it? For no reason. What's the reason? Like drive-by shooting. What's the reason for that? That's because they should not have. They should have strict laws.
Right now, there's more killings. People are killing each other because of the economy.
But what does it solve? It doesn't solve anything. Is it? Are you making money? No. Is it solving your situation? No. If anything, it's making it worse. What's the sense? What's the enjoyment that someone can have by shooting a gun?
Some people crave it and get real pleasure out of it.
What kind of pleasure?
I don't know. I don't.
I understand that. Because who's to say a young kid is buying a gun as a hobby, right? And then before you know it, he's going to have so many guns, and it's just a matter of time for that person to snap.
What about all these young kids that get a hold of guns and have accidents?
Yeah.
And kill each other?
True. Because they don't know how to handle a gun.
One kills the other one. Gets a hold of their father's gun.
Right. Playing.
Knows where he stashes it and gets a hold of it and showing it off and shoots it.
So again, how do you feel about me making this documentary?
Depends on how you're presenting it.
I'm not crazy about it.
Well, I'm not crazy, but you're shooting.
I think you could have found a better topic.
But if you're putting it out to show the danger of guns, yes. But you shooting it around the guns, you filming, I should say.
If you're putting it out because of the enjoyment of guns,
no,
I'm against it.
And if you're shooting it or filming it, someone shooting a gun, I'm not happy about it because that scares me. It scares me. What could happen? What could be?
Well, you know, when I got my first gun, I had more of an impulse. You know, it was just simply sort of a driving manner that, you know, yeah, I can't put quite a face on. But there was something about it that told me that I needed a shotgun, you know, for protection, for defense. Well, you know, and that's the thing is, you know, I've had several things brought up to me recently that kind of made me kind of wonder, well, why am I so much into firearms? Because it's not simply about the bang bang, you know. I mean, that's enjoyable, you know, the whole loud thing, but why? Because it goes much further than that for me, and I really do believe it does start for me as a child, and this is something that I really don't like to talk about, but when I was a kid, my stepmom, as you know, did not really like me. We did not get along, and she had certain beliefs, things like that she believed in forcing with force. She didn't try to convince you. It was through force. And I got into a tremendous amount of trouble for things that I never even did, simply because she wanted to get me in trouble. And I think part of it, for me, you know, owning firearms, you know, when you hear about power, you know, I don't start out shooting the guns thinking, oh, well, you know, it makes me powerful. But when I started thinking about it, you know, and, you know, hearing, well, you know, blah, blah, you know, different sort of, you know, point of views, I guess, it made me start wondering, well, you know, maybe maybe this is something that harkens back to my childhood, to where when I was defenseless, when I had to sit there and actually just take the shit that was, shoveled out to me and just deal with it. Maybe this is me kind of sitting there and saying, well, fuck that. You know what? I don't, it doesn't make sense why you're forcing me to do this. It's simply for your own pleasure, for your own sadistic pleasure. Well, fuck you. And you will never be able to force me to do something anymore, because I have what I guess people might say the ultimate power. The power of firearm. It equalizes in a way. There's a saying that God made man and Colt made man equal. Shooting a gun can be very relaxing for me, because with my work, I have to sit there behind a computer. And so, yes, when I sit there and I have periods of time, I've been working on the computer for like 4 or 5 hours, and I get out of work and I know that, I got a couple hours of daylight left, so I'm going to go to the range. It really does kind of, in a way, help relieve stress. You sit there, you go shooting. You have that, the kick, the power, kind of just, you just feel, for me, it's more of the recoil. Absorbing the recoil, something about that makes me feel good. I realize that guns, they are inherently designed to kill people. That is their purpose. Well, kill people, kill animals, but their end purpose is death. And I just can't see myself personally being safer from it by not being able to have access to it. The ability to make guns, it will always be there. You cannot get rid of it. All you can really hope for is to be the best you damn well can be with a gun. Just practice. Make sure you are as good as you can possibly be. It cuts down on innocent people you might kill. It's just learning to be proficient with the gun is so very, very, very important to me. And if you were to sit there and give up your right to absolute ownership of a gun, if you give the police officers the sole means to firearms and ownership of it, when things go real sour, what place do you have? How can you fight against them? You can't sit there and use peaceful protests against, guys who don't give a fuck and are willing to kill you simply because their higher-ups told them to. Firearm ownership, it's a responsibility not just to yourself and to your family, but to the country that you live in, the people that you live in that country with. If you abrogate that responsibility, what right do you have to freedom? What right do you have to be protected by the First Amendment if you're willing to give up your Second Amendment? It will never be gone. If you sit there and you ban it, firearms are a symptom. Gun violence is a symptom. Banning them is not the solution. And that's one thing in the United States. This violence that we have, that we sexualize in movies. People sit there and they play video games where they train themselves in being okay with committing acts of mass violence and death. I think really what it comes down to is how we educate. We have to sit back and realize, how do we project firearms and violence to our young people?